What was once the Polk County Courthouse now serves as the Polk County History Center and houses the Historical Museum and Library. The museum serves Polk's community through special events, volunteer opportunities, and educational programs. More details are coming up next on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Tina Mann, and joining me in the studio today is Murtis Young, the Historic Preservation Manager at the Polk County History Center.
Hi, Tina.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So we are here to talk about April. So it will be their last chance of the year until November at least to experience the cemetery tour. So why don't you tell us about that?
That is correct, and it's seasonal because of the weather, because it is a walking tour departing from the courthouse. The tour continues November to April, so April will be our final month for this season, and we hope everybody will join us for that tour departing the History Center at 11. We have a little bit of an introduction at the History Center, and then we walk down to the cemetery for a walk through history at the Oak Hill Cemetery. Now, if walking is not your thing, you can also drive, park, and catch up with the tour at the cemetery.
Depends on your personal preference, or perhaps whether it's cold or hot outside, because you never know in the beginning of April, because that's on the first Saturday, so that'll be April 6th this year.
Correct.
Lots of fun. And why don't we go ahead and talk about what we are doing for our littles this year.
The little guys, you know, I love this program. It's relatively new at the History Center. Cynthia Alley, our curator of education programs, developed a story time for young learners ages 5 and younger. So there are two opportunities to catch up with us. One is on Saturday, April 6th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then the other time is Tuesday, April 9th at 10 o'clock in the morning. So the morning one is that midway between breakfast and lunch and nap. It gives moms an opportunity to bring the young ones down to the History Center for a little break. And then Saturday afternoon at 2, I guess it's either right after lunch and nap or right before nap.
Sounds like fun. You guys do so much stuff for all ages at the History Center, and you know, it's really fun. And also in April, continuing is the Race and Cultural Lecture Series. So what can we expect for April?
We're really excited that in April we'll be hosting, our speaker is Anthony Dixon, and he's going to be speaking about the African diaspora experience in Florida. You know, Florida created a really different landscape for the African diaspora because, you know, we're a body sitting with a lot of water. A lot of people have referred to Florida as the Northern Caribbean, so it's a little bit of a different story. So he's going to talk about the state of Florida's relationship with the African diaspora, and it will cover the Florida Maroons, the Black Seminoles. He'll talk about slavery in Florida, African Americans in the Florida Reconstruction period, and then also the Civil Rights Movement in Florida. And as he brings this history and this factual story to the History Center, we'll continue to welcome Melissa Stump, Reverend Stump, to the History Center, who will give us an opportunity to continue the second part of that, the concept of conversations across racial boundaries. And so we'll, instead of just a Q&A on historical facts, we actually will have conversations about that experience, and we can ask the questions and feel the experience of this particular part in history. So that's the April session, and that's going to be April 9th. And again, this is a little different. Most of our visitors are accustomed to the Lunch and Learn at noon. This program is an evening program that begins at 5:30 and concludes at 7:30. So that's going to be always the second Tuesday of the month, and that will be April 9th.
So, but as with the Lunch and Learn, if they want to bring a snack or a light dinner, they're welcome to do it.
Absolutely. It is the same concept.
And I have to ask, because this is a new word for me, what is diaspora?
That is, actually, it is the dispersion. It is the story of dispersion of a race or culture throughout a geographical area from their homeland.
Well, that is interesting. I learn something new every day. And I'm excited about what is the Lunch and Learn series, but it's not called that anymore. We're going to be we're finishing up the Crossroad lecture series, in March, and then we're going to be going into the Out of the Archive series. So why don't you give us a little bit of an intro about how that format is going to be a little bit different?
Well, this is going to be fun. We are taking the same time, we're utilizing the same time that we had typically for the Lunch and Learn series, and we're rebranding it. It is now called Out of the Archives. So our curators, Maria Tripp, Curator of Collections, and Preston Petermeyer, our historian, will take turns every other month, and they will bring something for discussion, a show and tell of things basically that we have in the archives or in the closet at the museum. So Maria will begin in April, that's April 16th at 12:15, with a program that's entitled Toys in the Attic. And you would probably be surprised to know that we have a collection of dolls and doll houses and games, and all these are very historical, and I think it will be a lot of fun. Maria will bring those out, have them displayed on the table, and talk about the history of these toys, games, and doll houses, the dolls, and give everybody a chance to take a look and get just a little fun and, I guess, retroactive play.
That's funny. And I've had an opportunity to walk through the archives, and you go through and you're like, what is that? Like there's some sort of hair contraption back there that I thought was like an electric chair or something like that.
It looks like it.
It really does. So I mean, this is a really good opportunity for the public to get to see some of these crazy things or these things that we might not be familiar with, and bringing them out and telling the story behind them and the who, what, when, where, why of these things. So.
And the nice thing about it is we're so fortunate. The History Center is so fortunate. We have families and friends who have donated artifacts to the History Center. Over 500 of our families have donated artifacts. And it happens with all museums. You receive things that are that complement the mission, and of course our mission is to collect and educate about Polk County's history. But we have, I know it seems strange, even though we take up a whole city block, we only have so much geography for the exhibits. So this is an opportunity for us to bring some of those items forward that might only be on display for short-term exhibits. So this is an opportunity to be on display for a day and see what we have out back there in the closet.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And the other thing I love are architectural tours. So we have one coming up in April 20th.
The architectural tour is, again, it's always an opportunity for people to come to the History Center and have a curated tour specific to the architecture, the building and the architecture itself. In April, we will feature the beautiful stencils, and we'll hear the story about the stencils, their original design in 1908, when they actually were applied, and how the color palette was determined. So that'll be an interesting day to come up and enjoy this beautiful tour for that through the iconic courthouse.
Well, the History Center isn't all about exhibits and architecture. A lot of what you guys do is actually research and surrounding the history, and a lot of that, the brain of it, is in the genealogical library. And you guys have a workshop coming up, and let's talk a little bit more about the library and the workshop.
Well, we're fortunate that we have at the History Center both the Historical and Genealogical Library and the museum. All of our work begins in the library. The library is actually, it's the repository of Polk County history. So whatever we do on the museum side starts in the library. We start our research with the items that are in that collection, the newspaper articles, the maps, the aerials, resources, books that have been donated, family histories. We have just files and files and files of research that has been done by Polk County families. the celebrities like Spessard Holland papers, down to smaller families, like there may very well be a young family file in the library. So it starts there. The stories of early Polk County exist in the library. So in addition to providing an opportunity for people to research the towns, the communities, and the families, the genealogy library provides an opportunity for people to do specific genealogical research. So we have a bank of computers in the library that are available, and we have access to research tools like Ancestry.com and other research sources. Then occasionally we actually bring in some people who are expert in their field, and on April 27th, on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m., we're very fortunate that the registrar for the Bartow chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution will be conducting a workshop, and her workshop will be specific to doing research to become a member of DAR, to research your ancestors from the Revolutionary War. So you're very welcome to bring your own laptop or use one of the ones in the museum. Join us at 10 o'clock over in the library, and Carrie Kennedy, who is the DAR registrar, will teach us how to actually conduct the research to identify our patriots, or if we have already identified our patriots, be able to identify, or how to conduct the research to identify other ancestors from the Revolutionary War period.
Yeah, I don't think people know quite how much that goes on in that library, and how much research and just the staff that you have that are not only knowledgeable but are willing to go the extra mile to help people do their own research. I mean, you guys have a great asset and it's free. I mean, people don't realize, well, if they're really looking into a specific subject or, you know, their ancestry or genealogy, that you guys have people who are more than happy to help, who will sit down with you and go through things and show you where to look. And I mean, the maps you guys have are exquisite, and just the the rows and rows and rows of things that you don't even know are in existence. So you guys do a really good job of that, and your workshops are always rich and full of information. So
thank you. And I do, on that subject, appreciate so much that we do have staff who are willing. We frequently get calls from media, representatives of the media, journalists who are doing research to do stories on small towns, or where did this lake come from, or somebody who just purchased a historic home and they'd like to find out more information about that home, or just beginnings of a pioneer family. So we're very, very fortunate that we do have dedicated staff in the library who can take you into, very deeply into those areas of research.
Well, I think April is a great time to visit the History Center and to go do some research.
I agree with you, Tina, so we'll see everybody in April.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Thanks.
Polk County has a rich history and heritage, and the Polk County History Center is continuously thinking of new ways to help Polk residents experience that history. The museum's collection includes natural and cultural objects related to Polk and the greater Central Florida area that represent our history from pre-Columbian to present-day eras. The artifacts on display at the museum represent individuals, cultural groups, and events significant to the region. Located at 100 East Main Street in Bartow, the History Center is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. For more information about exhibits and events, you can check them out on the web at polkhistorycenter.org or give them a call at 863-534-4386.